Hawaii, arguably the most beautiful place on the planet. The sun, lush landscapes, turquoise blue water, and luau's abound. But the Aloha State is packed with surprises, too. There's a beach so remote, it's unlike any other. The Big Kahuna of Mountains shows off her heavyweight title. A state soul food that is iconic any way you slice it. And a souvenir that doesn't bring back memories, but bad luck. So hang loose for 10 things you don't know about Hawaii. Food defines life and culture in Hawaii, and there's nothing like dining on fresh seafood from its Pacific waters. But what do most people think comfort food is in Hawaii?
What about chocolate? Mai Tais.
Has apple in its mouth, I know that.
Pineapple?
Believe it or not, locals prefer theirs not from the sea, but a can. Spam.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, right.
Spam.
Spam, like in the can spam?
Hawaiians are our country's most carnivorous consumers of the canned cuisine, to the tune of 4 million cans a year. That's about 3 times more than the national average per capita.
Here in Hawaii, every man, woman, and child is reported to eat about 5 or 6 cans per person per year.
So how did this ham in a can find its way to the hearts of Hawaiians?
World War II brought Spam to Hawaii.
GIs in Hawaii relied on the packed meat as a source of sustenance and turned the natives on to the salty ham taste. Today, Spam is served all over Hawaii. You can even have it your way for breakfast at Burger King.
2 Spam platters, please.
What might be foul to some
That's gross.
is gourmet to them.
It's considered the Hawaiian steak.
To Hawaiians, anything meat can do, Spam can do better. So what are some local favorites?
Fried Spam.
Spam omelet.
Plain.
Kalua pork spam.
I put Spam in everything.
I'm already getting hungry.
It's kind of convenient, and it was cheap at the time. You know, we're definitely a people of repetition and culture to where if it just keeps going on and you have it there available, you're going to use it.
When locals are in need of a quick snack, they don't turn to a candy bar, but a Spam-like sushi called musubi.
Spam musubi is a convenience item. You pick it up and you can eat it very easily.
What this consists of is the rice, of course, the Spam, which is the main ingredient, and we do apply some furikake, which is this seasoned seaweed, if you will, and of course the nori, which is wrapped around.
Spam is so popular in Hawaii that there is a festival now.
In Honolulu, the tin is in at the yearly Spam Jam Fest. So next time you're in Hawaii, you can't leave without trying the miracle meat that stands the test of time. When you think of royalty in the U.S., visions of Elvis might come to mind.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But did you know America once had a king in its midst? That's right, the old US of A had a royal family in its Hawaiian history. And reminders of their reign can be seen today at the Iolani Palace in Honolulu, the only royal palace in the United States.
The Iolani Palace was the setting for many important gatherings here in what was the Kingdom of Hawaii back in the 19th century. People from all over the world came here and were welcomed by the king.
But more than a party planner, King Kalakaua was a global visionary.
The king was a very modern man for his day. He was eager to accept Western technology. He had electricity installed here before the White House did.
When the progressive king passed away in 1891, his sister, Princess Lily Ukalani, was crowned queen, taking over his monarchy.
She ruled here for a little less than 2 years. Then on January 17th, 1893, foreign and commercial interests had overthrown the queen, and she was forced to leave Iolani Palace.
And thus, the fairy tale life came to an end. But lucky for us, the Iolani Palace is preserved, and available for visitors to enjoy a look into the past glory days of what it was like to be royal, rich, and fabulous in Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is known for its scores of beautiful beaches, so when you're ready to work on your tan, there are a rainbow of sandy colors to choose from soft coral white to black weathered lava rock to yellowish orange to green? You heard right. The rarest in Hawaii and the world is actually green. Ever so remote, Pu'umahana is located on South Point, the true southernmost point of the United States. And Pu'umahana is home to one of the rarest beaches on the planet, the Green Sand Beach.
It's probably the only true green sand beach in the world.
We don't know what makes the sand green. Only God knows.
Actually, the green sand we see is a result of a volcanic eruption that happened some 4,000 years ago.
And that's what happened at Pu'umahana when it erupted. Is the lava that made it actually came from the lower part of a magma chamber, and it produced a cinder cone with about 20% of the rock being olivine.
Olivine is also known as peridot, a semi-precious stone.
Once you get here, it's amazing, and you don't want to leave.
If you plan on visiting this remote beach, better make a day of it. Not only is it at least a 2-hour drive from the closest city, Kona, but be sure to bring your hiking shoes and plan on an additional 45 minutes to 1 hour hike from parking to the beach.
It's all worth it to come to this setting.
As soon as this cinder cone erodes away, it won't be here any longer. It will probably exist for another few thousand years, and then it will be gone, and there won't be a green sand beach anymore.
So capture all the memories you can, but please leave the sand behind. Up next, careful what you bring back from Hawaii. It might give you bad luck. And come along way yonder to the original Wild West, where Shaps replace surfboard shorts when 10 Things You Don't Know About Hawaii returns. You can't leave Hawaii without some postcards, tasty macadamia nuts, or boppin' hula girls. But some tourists want to bring home something unique, a one-of-a-kind trinket that's free, but ends up being anything but a bargain. Hundreds of thousands of lava rocks are taken from the island yearly as keepsakes. But for some, a whole slew of mishaps come along unexpectedly for the ride back home. Like in the case of Leila and Mark Choburka.
A few weeks after we got back, 5 hurricanes, 2 of them came right over us. We lost the roof on our home. We lost all the awnings on our windows. We better get rid of that lava rock.
But is it plain superstition, or is there more to the rock than the lava?
These lava rocks definitely have a spirit and a life force within.
And when things get too weird back home, people ship the lava rocks back to anyone who will take them on the islands. To the hotels, to the post office, to cultural specialists like Danny Akaka in hopes that the spell will be broken and their luck will change.
Mark and I decided to jot a little note and send it right back home.
Dear Sir or Madam, we had an enjoyable stay at your resort last June.
During a tour of the Big Island, my wife Leila and myself picked up a piece of lava.
The tour guide stated that some say that taking a piece of lava rock from the island could bring bad luck.
We did it anyhow. After the happenings around here of late, I'm beginning to be inclined to believe it. Just in case, please accept the enclosed lava rock.
By returning it,
we will feel a lot better.
Thank you. It's part of our Kuleana's responsibility to help that person who didn't know any better and return it for them. I have a few rocks with me today, and we'll return them to the island in a very traditional way.
To this day, tourists continue to remove rocks from the islands, and the letters will keep coming. But Pele, the goddess of fire, will continue to seek revenge on those that steal from her. So visit this beautiful paradise, but heed this warning. Leave the lava rocks where you find them. For all you caffeine junkies out there, Did you know America consumes some 400 million cups a day, making the U.S. the leading consumer in the world? Considering we're so coffee-crazed, it may jolt you to know that Hawaii is the only state to grow coffee in the entire U.S. And the Kona region on the Big Island produces some of the best beans anywhere on the planet.
Yummy.
So why do they get the perk?
Our climatic condition is just perfect for coffee.
Sunny mornings, cloudy, rainy afternoons, and the soil. You know, our soils here are very organic, builds flavor up in these trees. When you think about Kona coffee and you think about coffee from the rest of the world, our trees tend to grow a lot bigger. Our berries tend to take longer to mature.
But only the best beans make the cut. Hawaii's lush Kona coffee region is world famous and considered the creme de la coffee business, growing an amazing amount of high-quality varieties.
I drink, anywhere between 8 to 12 cups a day. We have private reserve, dark roast, Full City, medium roast, pea berry, macadamia nut, chocolate mac nut, dark decaf, Full City decaf.
Last year alone, the island production of coffee estimated about 8 million pounds. But compared to the global average of 134 million pounds, it's a precious drop in the bucket.
Vanilla ice latte.
Bean by bean, this gourmet coffee doesn't come cheap.
$40.50 a pound, I think it's cheap.
You may say it's the price of paradise.
Coming up, what's considered the largest city in the world and why?
New York or Los Angeles.
The answer may surprise you.
Wow.
And the Big Kahuna of all of the world's mountains shows off her heavyweight title. Standing tall at 29,000 feet, Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. Or is it? Believe it or not, that towering achievement belongs to another rock, a rock in Hawaii.
Mauna Kea is around 31,000 feet. Mount Everest, 29,000 feet. Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain on the planet. What most people don't see is most of the mountain goes down to the ocean floor.
Standing tall in the central part of the Big Island of Hawaii, Mauna Kea is an inactive volcano whose beauty matches its diversity.
Mauna Kea is one of the few places on the planet where you can go from sea level to 14,000 feet in less than 2 hours. So you've got a 50-degree change in an hour drive.
You can actually go from surfs up to snowboarding in a single afternoon. But there's no chairlift, so you'll have to find your own way up to the snowy volcanic rim. But the 14,000-foot crater is not just for snowboarders. At night, the stargazers come out. Astronomers from all over the world have also declared it a space research hub.
Mauna Kea now has a total of 13 observatories on the summit. The view of the sky is just magnificent.
So next time you want to wish on a shooting star, snowboard, or hike up the tallest mountain in the world, look upwards to Mauna Kea on Hawaii's Big Island. When you think of the big cities, traffic, congestion, and large populations might come to mind. But do you have any idea what the largest city is in the world and why?
I don't know. I am so bad at geography. I got a D.
Sydney, Australia.
So ask the blonde. New York or Los Angeles. Somewhere in Japan.
Would you believe it's Honolulu?
Honolulu, really?
Is it really?
I would never have guessed that.
So how can a city on such a small island claim to be the largest in the world? It's not about population, but actual physical size.
Well, it's because of our geographical landmass, and our President George Bush designated the Northwest Pacific Hawaiian Islands as part of the Hawaiian chain, if you will. It made the city and county of Honolulu now the largest geographical area. So it's not just the island of Oahu, which is all of the city and county of Honolulu, but it's over through the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean.
If you were to take that landmass and stretch it across the U.S., it would stretch from New York City to Denver. But size matters not to Hawaiians. Living the island life has its pros and cons.
When you look at how we are geographically situated,
we are far and away the most isolated place on the planet,
given the amount of civilization and everything else that goes on here.
We have to import our food. A large measure of that, our energy needs are imported. So land costs, being an island, tend to be a little higher. The average cost of a home is about $650,000 a year.
Some of those are the trade-offs for what some conceive and believe is the most beautiful place in the world. When you think of the Hawaiian language, words like aloha and mahalo might come to mind. But did you know the island's melting pot of many ethnic languages like Japanese, Chinese, Hawaiian,
and we talk ladies and like that,
and English blended together to create a special language unique only to Hawaii?
Gotta hit him with your shirt, bro. How you gonna get one suntan?
If you understand that, you pretty much have to be a local.
There's 3 major languages here. Of course, English being one of them. Hawaiian, which is the indigenous language. The 3rd language, Pidgin, about half the population that speak it natively.
Long time no see. Right on, bro. What you doing over here? Just cruising, checking out some fish, what they can catch today.
The Pidgin that was developed by the first generation of immigrants brought in here, brought to Hawaii to work on a plantation.
We speak it at home, we speak it at work.
It's not a language that you teach. You're born with it.
So for all you out-of-towners, here's a quick Pidgin 101 lesson for you.
Pau.
Finished.
Hamajang.
All mixed up.
Takain.
Whatchamacallit.
So next time, if you really want to blend in with the locals, say,
"You guys get lua."
And instead of saying,
Aloha,
say this.
Shoots Kaden.
Next on 10 Things You Don't Know About Hawaii. Whoa, cowboys in Hawaii? Giddy up! And a golf course where more records are broken than any other. Hawaiians are blessed to ride some of the most awesome waves in the world. But did you know some Hawaiians cash in their surfboards for saddles, spurs, and a quarter horse? Cowboys in Hawaii? Whoa, Nelly! How did the woolly West make its way some 2,300 miles across the Pacific Ocean?
Cattle ranching in Hawaii actually began with the introduction of cattle in 1798 by Captain George Vancouver. He made a gift of 5 longhorn cattle to King Kamehameha. As the cattle herd grew, it came to a point where the king realized that something needs to be done with this cattle herd.
With no one to steer the cattle, the need for a ranch was apparent. The young John Parker saw the opportunity, and the cattle boom began.
In 1847, John Palmer Parker purchased 2 acres of land for $10. That was the start of our ranch.
We're celebrating our 160th anniversary. I like to tease my friends from Texas that we've been a ranch longer than they've even been a state.
But Parker Ranch and other Hawaiian ranches wouldn't be in existence today if the Mexican cowboys called vaqueros hadn't come over and shown them the ropes.
From there, the native Hawaiians learned how to ride and handle horses and cattle. As a result, the Hawaiian saddle is a real unique saddle that originated from the vaquero type saddle.
Hawaiian word for cowboy is paniolo, which was given from the Spanish.
Thanks in part to the vaqueros, today's Parker Ranch is about 150,000 acres. Break that down, and you have about 850 miles of fence and over 35,000 head of cattle.
The Parker Ranch is the 5th largest ranch in the United States.
Located near the themed western town of Waimea on the Big Island, Parker Ranch is almost just as well known for their horses as they are for their cattle. You can't have your cowboys without a first-class horse. Known for their speed and utility, they raise a combination of thoroughbreds and quarter horses, and their breeding program is recognized as one of the best in the industry.
I'm a 4th generation cowboy. It's in the blood.
It's really a unique place to work, and it's a great place to be a cowboy. I got to get back to work. We'll see you guys.
No one knows exactly when the game of golf came to the most remote inhabited place on the planet. But everyone knows it's a big attraction. Hawaii boasts more golf courses per capita than any other place in the U.S. But what you don't know is that nestled in the center of Honolulu's Waikiki Beach lies the busiest golf course in the world, according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
We can play golf 365 days a year.
That equates to about 165,000 rounds of golf.
That's over 3,100 rounds a week, compared to an average course of 1,100 rounds. 60,000 holes are played every week at Ala Wai. Because the course is so busy, there are on average 5 hole-in-ones a month. But practice doesn't make perfect for every golfer who plays at Ala Wai. Over 36,000 balls are retrieved every year from its surrounding lakes, leaving a lot of players teed off.
We have tee times running 5 and 6 minutes apart, which is pretty unusual for a normal golf course.
But some golfers try to pull rank to ensure a tee time.
We had one gentleman come to the golf course and said he's a personal friend of the governor. So my reply to him was, even if the governor was standing right next to you, if you don't have a tee time, you go on the waiting list like everybody else.
Because this public golf course is so centrally located in this golf-crazy state, getting a tee time is first come, first served, and all done through a computer-automated phone system.
It's difficult to get a tee time. It's hit or miss. At 6:30 in the morning is when the tee time lines open up. So can you imagine 88,000 people trying to make a tee time?
Ala Wai might be the busiest, but it seems to flow pretty well considering the Guinness record it holds. So next time you think you know everything about a place,
I put Spam in everything.
It's amazing, and you don't want to leave.
You know, this rock is not doing us any good.
think again.
Thank you very much.